Like and subscribe, and let's get straight to it. Caucasians, you have been duped. You don't know your history. But then some of you do know your history. But the point I want to make right now is that I always hear people saying that Caucasians fear that black people will do to them what they did to us. That doesn't make any sense. You are not us. You see, Rome built the Colosseum. And you know what went on in the Colosseum. Egypt, which was Kemet and is in Africa, was built by black people, and we built temples to God. We built pyramids. We did not build instruments of torture like the cow that they built out of brass or whatever, and they would put people in there and then light a fire under it, and then they could hear the people yell and moan out of the nose and mouth of the cow. We didn't do that. We didn't do that. We have no desire to use babies for alligator bait. We didn't do it in the past. We won't do it now. We are not you. We are a peaceful people, a God-loving people, even though we were robbed of our heritage. And even though we were robbed of our heritage and our beliefs, what was in us is in us, and we still came up with our version of Christianity, which was non-violence. We are not going to do to you what you did to us. We are not going to hang a person from a tree and have a picnic celebrating that. That doesn't make sense to us. We are not going to let a dog lick our ice cream cone and then put it in his mouth. We are not going to feed our child with off the same plate and spoon to our dog. We're not going to do that. We're not going to sleep with our animals normally. We don't allow our animals in bed. Now a few will do that. I know where they get it from, but that's not something that we do. We treat animals like animals, not like a member of the family. Even though we may love our animals, we're not going to treat them like human beings. And I say this to say that there is a difference between us. And I say this to say that we recognize truth. We recognize truth. And we are a civilized people. And Donald Trump in 1998 said, and it's in the thumbnail, that if he were a politician, he would be a Republican because Republicans aren't that intelligent. Reagan, a Republican, dropped the taxes on the rich from 70-something% to 28%. Up till that time, the only billionaire in the world was Onassis, who married Jackie Kennedy. But when Reagan left office, you had billionaires popping up all over the place. And Republicans have been cutting taxes, to now you have billionaires with people with 70-something billion dollars. 70-something billion dollars. But then what does the Bible tell you about a rich man? It tells you that a rich man has as much chance of entering the kingdom of heaven as a camel has of passing through the eye of a needle. And I say this to say that I don't care what you think, because evidently you don't care what you think also. Because if you cared and you thought, then you would realize that Trump doesn't care about you. And why in God's name would you put a felon, would you vote for a felon and make a felon your president? And you know all the things that he is allegedly guilty of. I say allegedly, but you know what's going on in my mind. It should be the same thing going on in your mind, because you don't hide, if you have proof that you're innocent, you don't hide it. That's common sense 101. We are not you. The young man Nolan. If I go out on a boat with my friends, 4 black guys on a boat, we take one white guy with us, I can guarantee you that he's coming back. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you that if an Asian person if I thought an Asian person stole a bottle of water out of my store, I would not chase him over 100 yards and then shoot him. That's not what we would do. So you are not us. And I heard a Caucasian say this: if Jesus, who is Yahshua, were black, he would not believe in Jesus anymore. That was the most narcissistic thing I ever heard in my life. Why would Jesus care what you did? Why would he care? What's so beautiful about you, or so enlightening about you, to where Jesus would care if you believed in his teachings? That's insane. And I've just about given up. But see, I put the pictures on there, and I want to see what happens when Caucasians see it. I got a question. If MAGA saw that picture and they knew it was true, would they still worship Donald Trump? Would they still believe in him? But you know, the interesting thing, where I don't care what Caucasians think or say, is because you're not making any sense anyway. You're not making any sense. Nothing you do or have done makes any sense. Nature and the laws of nature are for a reason. But you will wipe out entire species, upset the balance of nature, then you come back and you put the beavers back. You put the wolves back. You put coyotes back. You put bison back. And then you act like you did something intelligent. All you did was correct your mistakes. And other cultures have always lived within the laws of nature. So really, this post is really a test. It's a test. And it should be part of your awakening to the realization that you are being used by the rich to stay rich. People don't become billionaires if Bill Gates cared about Caucasians. There would be no poor Caucasian, because he could literally put everyone in a house. Nobody would have to be poor in the United States. No one would have to be suffering. And why? And they wouldn't be putting GMOs in people's food. Trump would not have taken the United States out of the World Health Organization. And then you look at all kind of, our food isn't even safe to eat. And it's not even about, and the funny thing is, it's not even the propaganda. How could you fall for this propaganda? How can you fall for propaganda and ignore what a person is doing? I mean, everything in America to me seems like a commercial. And everything in America is a commercial. And none of these commercials are true. Not one commercial is true. They tell you a car costs this much. Then when you go buy the car, you know there's going to be all kind of added charges to it. You order something off TV, when you get it, it's not the same. Now people have lost, I mean, how much you've lost money buying those RVs, because most of those don't work, and they have all kind of clauses in there to where you can't take the things back. Now the word is out, don't buy a 2027 car. And how much food in the United States isn't even food? A bar of soap says moisturizing something. Doesn't say soap. So many things in this particular country, it's horrible. And I know I'm jumping from point to point, but everything I'm saying is common sense and should not have to be said. If Trump said he was going to improve hospitalization, he raised it. He said he was going to help farmers, knocking you out of business, but you still have MAGA running around cheering for him. He's going to end the war. Then he said, I don't care about white families. I care about, paraphrasing, I care about the war in Iran. And Iran has done nothing to us. But I'll tell you this. Black people, Hebrew Israelites, we're going to save the United States. Not for white people, not for Chinese, Latinos. We're going to save it for humanity. And then we're going to continue to try to educate and civilize Caucasians, Neanderthals, or whatever you want to call yourself. But there are some Caucasians who are spiritually awakening, and the Spirit of God is no longer dormant in their souls because they believe in truth. I may be kind of all over the place with this, but the point I want to make is that it's time for Caucasians to wake up. It's time for you all to wake up. You can like and subscribe if you want to, but I will never ask you for anything, nor do I care about any type of monetization. Catch you later.